back to ENTYG. So today is just going to be another one of these videos where I'm just sitting down and talking to you guys. There is going to be more vlogs, more cooking videos, daily life with my twins, just a bunch of stuff. But today is going to be my twin journey. So, my twin pregnancy journey. So, I'm going to be talking about from the minute I found out to the minute I had my C-section. So, let's get started. Okay, so I was feeling very, very, sick, not myself, just feeling very, very different, and I was like, oh no, this can't be happening right now. So, I told my fiance that I wanted to get a pregnancy test, and he was like, oh, you're dumb, you don't need a pregnancy test, you're on birth control, what are you talking about? So I was like, no, I think I do because I don't feel good. So we went and got a pregnancy test, I did what I had to do, and it instantly said positive. So I went to the hospital because, like I just said, I was on birth control, and getting pregnant on birth control can make multiple things go wrong through your pregnancy. So we went to the emergency room just to make sure everything was okay, but I couldn't get an ultrasound because the ultrasound tech was gone and it was already 9:30 at night. So we go back home, I make a doctor's appointment. It's 2 days later, we go to my doctor's appointment and we see the ultrasound. It's me, my fiance, and my grandmother. All three of us were in the room, and my grandmother and my fiance were like, oh my god, I see two. And I was like, what do you mean you see two? You guys don't even understand what you're talking about. You don't even know what you're seeing. I was like, let the lady tell me. So the lady looks over and chuckles at me, and I'm like, oh great. Are you serious? So she looks at me and she's like, yeah, well, there's two heartbeats. And then I got my little ultrasound, and it was just two little babies this big in a sack, and I was like, wow. And she told me that they were identical. From 6 weeks and 2 days is when I found out. So then from there on, I had appointments back to back. I had to see what are they called? High risk doctor, high risk specialist for multiples or whatever. And I seen that doctor, and then so throughout my pregnancy, so I found out, I swear I wasn't nauseous and throwing up or anything until I found out. The minute I found out, I was sick. The next day I was throwing up. I was just oh my goodness, I feel everything. I literally feel everything. So, but my fiance had said that it was twins before we got into the ultrasound, so it was pretty cool that he kind of knew or guessed it or whatever. So then throughout my pregnancy, I was sick a little bit until I want to say 13 weeks. I was nauseous because it's double the hormones, double everything that's going on. I'm growing two babies at the same time, so it was very, very rough for the first trimester, and then once I hit 13 and a half weeks, 14 weeks, it was gone, and I never felt nauseous again. The only thing that would make me feel nauseous is if food was cooking. I couldn't be in the same room if food was cooking. So, I apologize again if I'm looking over here. It's because I'm looking at myself at the same time. So, yeah, I couldn't really be in the same room when food was cooking, but besides that, I was pretty good. My pregnancy was great. So then I found out I had 2, 3 ultrasounds, 2 or 3 or 4 maybe. I had a lot of ultrasounds. I have a stack that big of ultrasounds throughout my whole pregnancy. So I had 2 or 3 ultrasounds, maybe 4 after that, and then I was about 14 weeks and 5 days, I want to say, and we went to the doctors, and I asked if we could find out if we could find out the gender, and she was like, yeah, we can, and he said they were boys, but he said they were boys at 10 and a half weeks, 11 weeks. So at 14 weeks and 5 days, we found out they were boys, and it was pretty freaking cool. But I had them like make sure they were boys throughout my whole pregnancy, because I just didn't want to make, like, I didn't want a mistake, you know what I mean? Because we had names, we had bought stuff, like, just, I wanted them to be boys. So, we found out they were boys, and then we started planning, like, my baby shower and all that stuff. I'm kind of off track a little bit. So, we found out they were boys, we started planning my baby shower, we started buying diapers, wipes, soaps, like, all these little necessities that we would need throughout their life. So I was good throughout my whole pregnancy, except that I was at the doctor's like 2-3 times a week my whole entire pregnancy. That was the most annoyingest thing I've ever been through in my life, was being at the doctor's so many times. Like, literally. I didn't even have to check in anymore. They would just check me in by walking through the door. Literally. So we would be at the doctor's all the time. They came to a point where in my pregnancy, one of my sons was like a little bit backtracked a little bit. They told us that he was 2 weeks behind, but he was a little bit smaller throughout the whole time, but not this much smaller. So he ended up being a little bit smaller. So that happened at like 24 weeks. They tell us that, and they tell me that I have to go early. They told me the earliest I can deliver them is 37 weeks, but because of like, he was not growing the way he was supposed to, I guess, because like I said, they were identical and they shared everything in my belly besides the amniotic fluid. They had a little, they called monodi twins. So they had like a little like they had a little embryo thing like in the middle, like that separated the fluid from one to the other, but I was still high risk of getting twin-to-twin transfusion. I was still high risk for a lot of different things that happen with identical twins, because they did share everything and I only had one placenta. So, and that's really, really, like, bad for 2 babies. So it's like 2 babies, 1 bottle is what they consider it. So all that stuff happened at like 24 weeks. So they tell me that I have to deliver by like 35 weeks, 36 weeks. So I'm like, oh man, like, I'm going to be in the NICU forever. So I go through my pregnancy, everything's fine. I craved a lot of ice cream, cinnamon stuff, like just random things, a lot of sour things. So we go through my whole entire pregnancy or whatever. We get towards the end, and I'm like 31 weeks, I want to say, and everything was great. I could tell who was who kicking. We had names picked out, like, we moved into our own apartment. We had everything ready for them, like, literally. My baby shower was around the corner, like, everything was perfect. So it was around like April-ish, because that's when I had my baby shower. I had my baby shower, and then I want to say like 2-3 weeks later I had them. So it was about April-ish now, and I had my baby shower, and everything was fine. We brought everything home. We set up the cribs. Well, we only have 1 crib, but we're not going to do cribs. That's a whole nother story. So we set up the crib that we do have. We set up their swings, their rockers, put their clothes, wash their clothes, put their clothes away, organize their clothes from 0 to 3 months, 6 to 9 months, 3 to 6 months, like all that good stuff. We did all that, so we were all ready for them. I packed my hospital bags literally like 2 days before the day I was supposed to have my C-section. The day I had my C-section, actually. Not supposed to, because I did. So we had everything ready. The house was clean. Everything was clean. So we was ready. And the doctors was telling us, like, because one of the babies was small, they were telling us that we really couldn't, like, we probably wouldn't be able to hold them when they were born or see them and all that stuff. So I was really, really nervous throughout, like, the end of my pregnancy, because I'm like, damn, I just carried these kids and I'm not even going to be able to see them, like, right away. Like, that's going to be hard for me. So they ended up telling me that I needed to get a C-section earlier than what I was supposed to. I was supposed to have a C-section between May 20th and May 29th. And they told me that I had to have a C-section between May 6th and May 11th. So that was way earlier than what I was hoping for, but that's alright. They ended up being fine. We did 33 days in the NICU. That could be a whole nother story too, because I have NICU pictures, I have all that stuff, and I can show you them what they look like now. They are so big and beautiful, and I can't believe I had twins, and I can't believe that they were that tiny. When I tell you guys, they were so small. Like, me and their dad would hold their heads like right here. Like, their head would fit right here, and their little body, like little bodies. They had such a tiny body. They were so little. It was the cutest thing in the world. But, like, back to my pregnancy. I had an amazing pregnancy. Literally amazing. I don't have no complaints. They put me on bed rest at 27 weeks, and I didn't even bother to listen because I felt great. I felt great. I was walking. I walked like 2 miles every day for like 2 weeks. I was feeling great. I was 119 when I got pregnant, and I was 161 when I delivered. So I gained 60 pounds. 60 pounds or 61 pounds throughout my whole pregnancy. But that's great because the doctor told me he wanted me to weigh... No, I'm lying. See? When I had them, I was 180. 180, yeah. I was 119 when I got pregnant, and I was 180 when I got on the scale right before my C-section. Because I remember my doctor telling me, I want you to weigh at least 180 by the time you have your C-section. And I was literally 180. It was crazy. I couldn't get on the C-section table by myself because I was huge. Huge. I'll insert some pictures around here when I'm editing this video. I'll put some right here throughout the video and show you guys what the babies look like when they were so little. But it was amazing. I had an amazing twin pregnancy. Like, amazing. And I couldn't ask for anything better because there could have been a lot of things that went wrong, and God was by my side all the way. All the way. And I'm so blessed. I am so grateful. So I just wanted to give you guys like a little story real quick. If you guys want like my C-section story, like how I dealt with that, my recovery, all that stuff, comment down below. If you guys want like my NICU journey, because I said I was there for 33 days and it was such a rough experience. Such a rough experience. And I do not wish the NICU upon nobody. Even if you're there for a day, it's rough. I just don't like it. I don't like the atmosphere. But that's a whole nother story. But I just wanted to give you guys a little story of my twin pregnancy and just, I don't know, just share it with you guys because it was amazing. And I'm sorry if this video is all over the place. I didn't really write this down or anything. I'm just literally talking to you guys, recording myself. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to smash that like button. Comment down below what videos you guys want to see from me. And do not forget to hit that bell for always. So as soon as I post the video, you get a notification on your screen. I can't wait to see you guys again, and I can't wait to like make my channel grow and give you guys more video. Thank you.